Welcome back to Movie House. I'm your host, David, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Connor. That's way better than it. That's way better.
That's Art the Clown's famous horn.
And you're Connor.
I'm Connor.
Speaking of Art the Clown,
Yes.
today we're going to be covering Terrifier.
That's right, David. The 2016 horror film directed by Damien Leone.
Very good. Well, Connor. Well, I just passed you this bag here.
Oh, that large bin bag that's
Yeah.
rattling and shaking.
Yeah. Have a look in there for me. Some fucking clown left it over here.
My God, it's a bunch of rusty, murderous tools, David.
Oh, fucking hell.
Saws and such.
Anything else in that bag?
You want me to put my hands in and reach around?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, at the bottom of this bag, there's a recap. A recap for the movie Terrifier 2016, written in shit.
Very good.
I'm glad that I got that in my open wounds, along with all the rusty metal.
Perfect.
Well, Terrifier 2016, it's your classic kind of grindhouse slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it mainly follows the killer, Art the Clown, and not any kind of a final girl or group of survivors the way that a traditional slasher would. Your Friday the 13th, your Halloween's, Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
to a lesser degree, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I can really say about the film. It's a series of characters: Dawn, Tara, Tara's sister,
Mm-hmm.
the homeless woman, and a couple of guys
Yeah.
getting brutally dispatched by Art the Clown,
Very much, yeah.
one after the other,
Mm-hmm.
as he toys with his victims and does funny little bits.
Pretty much.
That is the entirety of Terrifier 2016. That's as much of a plot recap as I can give you.
Good, good. Okay.
Let me put this recap that I found back into the bag, right at the bottom.
Good, good.
Oh, okay, there it remains. I'll pass it back over to you, David. Here you go.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, there it can fucking stay.
Very good.
Till Art comes back for it.
Let's hope he doesn't.
Yeah, let's hope.
So, David, what did you think of Terrifier 2016? I know this was your first time watching the film.
It was indeed. I would like to preempt this with a little explanation about my personal preferences for movies. And that is, typically, I'm not much of a slasher fan,
Really?
typically speaking.
Not even your normal slashers? Your Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street,
A
Halloween?
bit of classic slashers. I quite like a few of them, largely because, well, they're not that bloody for being a slasher. You know what I mean? I'm not a massive fan of let's empty an entire container of blood every time someone gets cut kind of films. However, saying that and putting that out there, I really liked this film. I thought it was great.
Really?
Yeah. I really liked Terrifier. I thought it was brilliant.
I thought you'd hate the film. I know I picked it because it's more my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And obviously to ride the algorithmic express that is Terrifier 3. But I wasn't sure if you would like it at all.
Right.
I'm a big fan of those slasher movies. Not so much the torture porn side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
So, David, obviously the main takeaway that people have from this film, and I would say the thing that's become very iconic over the last 8 or so years since the film was released,
Mm-hmm.
is the character of Art the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
What was your introduction to the character of Art the Clown? Because I know what mine was.
Well, not that I knew that it was Art the Clown until I started watching Terrifier.
Yeah.
It was a sort of like where he looks surprised and then sort of does this head tilt forward, big cheesy grin meme.
Yes. I know the GIF you're talking about.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
GIF.
Yeah, whatever. Or piss. But yeah, that would be my sort of introduction to Art the Clown.
Was that your entire history with it prior to watching this
That is
film?
all of it.
My God.
Absolutely all of it. I have never seen, not that I'm aware anyway, I might have anything where he wasn't in a particular shot or something. I might have seen a clip or two here or there of one of the Terrifier films.
What?
One of the Terrifier films.
Currently there's only the two.
Yeah.
Oh, well, technically, my first experience with art was actually because I had previously watched a movie called All Hallows Eve, which is an anthology movie created by Damien Leone, the director of Terrifier, in which art also appears.
Oh, okay.
Art's in that, and I think I'd seen one of the short films. There's two short films that art was also in. One in 2008 called Ninth Circle or something. And then one also called Terrifier in about 2011.
Right. Okay.
And then All Hallows Eve was 2013.
Right.
I definitely seen All Hallows Eve, and I think I might have even seen Terrifier or Ninth Circle. I'd seen one of the shorts. So I had an idea of who he was prior to even watching Terrifier.
Right. Okay. I didn't know there was actually that much about him. When you said Terrifier, I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea what to expect from that. I didn't look up anything before it either.
You went in totally blind.
I went in completely blind. The very first image I saw of the Terrifier that I knew was the Terrifier.
Of art.
Yeah. Was the sort of image as you play it. You're trying to play the movie on
the
Amazon
poster
Prime.
on Amazon, yeah.
That's it.
I know the one you mean. So I also watched the film on Amazon for this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Having seen All Hallows Eve, Art the Clown, played by a different actor, by the way.
Okay.
And it's the same actor in the two shorts and in All Hallows Eve. And then it's a different actor for now the Terrifier trilogy. So
Right.
Obviously he's in 3.
Yeah, yeah.
I was aware that Art is a supernatural being because it's very, very obvious throughout the entirety of All Hallows Eve.
Right, okay.
He's teleporting, he's coming back to life. There's a really great scene where to freak someone out, he has his eyes basically turn into car headlights. Like he turns around and his eyes are like these big torches shining lights out almost.
Yeah,
it's a really creepy bit of imagery.
Right.
So he's even more supernatural than he is seemingly in this film.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's an ordinary killer until
the very end, basically.
The very end where he shoots himself in the head and then comes back to life.
Yeah. And I did not know that he was a sort of supernatural being.
Yeah.
I thought this was just some dude in clown makeup because, well, you see some dude putting clown makeup on at the start of the film.
I'd forgotten that you actually see him putting the makeup on. I assumed this was like the kind of thing where he just pops in and he's like
just
that.
There. Yeah,
I don't think, I've seen Terrifier 2, I don't think we see him outside of the makeup at any point. I assumed it was like a Joker, comic book Joker where his skin's dyed white, not Arthur Fleck.
Yeah, none of that. Shite.
Let's never talk about Joker 2019 again.
Yeah.
Even though it has quite a few similarities with this film. Let's
not. When it came to certain parts of the story in the film, I got mildly frustrated with the stars because they didn't capitalize on certain points that would have gotten them away from a normal human.
You're talking about the characters who aren't art.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to say, the final girl or the survivor, but no, it's everyone in the film is not art.
Yeah, yeah.
Is a victim of art.
Yes.
Aside from the 2 cops.
Yeah.
In fact, the 4 cops, because it's different cops that shoot art.
4 cops.
To the cops who take him to the coroner's office.
Yeah.
The girl who gets her face eaten's mum and dad. And the plastic surgeon who does something to her face, doesn't fix it.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the first woman killed in the movie. She's not killed by art. She's killed by Tara's sister.
Yeah.
Whose name escapes me.
But yeah, so there's a couple of points in this where, for example, art is showing off all the different weapons to tied up Tara.
Yes, aye.
And showing off and threatening her with all the different weapons that he's got sitting in a bag right next to him.
Is this just before he kills Dawn?
Yes, just before he kills Dawn. Then he kills Dawn. Tara escapes out of the sort of chair binding and injures Art, runs past the bag full of weapons and gets a plank of wood from 3 rooms away.
Yeah.
And tries to beat him up with that instead of the hammer, the keychain whip thing that he's got. Yeah. All this other shit that's sitting right there, an axe,
it's all
fucking
pretty,
saw, everything.
As I alluded to in our recap introduction, it's all pretty rusty stuff.
True, but she also knows it's there.
I don't know how helpful that would have been, honestly.
I
will not fault, because
have.
I think the initial plan for her was just to run and try and get out, and then she realises, obviously, that's not going to happen.
True, but you did just see... Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting this in as a complaint about the plot.
I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder. Famous segment from our Simpsons podcast. Insert brain here, a Simpsons podcast.
Yes, correct.
In which we talk about issues that we have with the episode of The Simpsons that we're covering.
Yeah.
You're not doing one of those.
I'm not doing one of those because of the fact that Art, as it turns out, is a supernatural being. Excuse me.
I think there's a bit in All Hallows Eve. I didn't rewatch that for this episode, and I have very, very vague memories of it.
Okay.
And really of just the art scenes. I think there's a bit in that where someone runs Art over with their car as they're driving away to try and get away from him, and he gets like his head squashed. He's dead. And then he teleports into their back seat of the car. He basically just appears. Or no, he appears on a bike cycling next to their car or something, going like full speed. I will say this, I find the art in All Hallows Eve, and maybe one of the other short films, I can't remember, I find him actually terrifying.
Right.
He's much, much scarier than this art.
Yeah.
To me. This is probably a better made film, it's more focused. And that's saying something, because this is not a very well made film. But yeah, there's something about the limitless potential. And the fact that he can do so much, and he could very easily instantly teleport behind everyone and shoot them with a gun.
Yeah.
But he wants to mess with them. He enjoys clowning with people, which is something I'm going to get into that irritates me about this character.
Oh, okay.
He's not a fucking clown. He's a mime.
Yeah.
He's Art the mime. What are you calling him Art the clown for? He's not a clown.
Yeah.
Clowns have noses that honk and are colourful, and they talk and laugh.
Yeah.
And they live in sewers and eat children. This is not a clown. This is a mime.
Yeah.
You should have a little beret on.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. The only thing I can think of is if he was in colour, which is not.
Yeah.
If he was in colour, then would it be clown makeup? If you see what I mean. So like, is all the makeup that he's got on, is that the correct places for the clown sort of look?
No. I don't think there's a big difference between clown makeup and mime makeup in terms of placement.
Typically, mimes have got like the rosy spot cheeks. They're supposed to be, but they're black and white.
Yeah.
So it's black spots typically at the high cheekbone part.
He does have the black and white thing that mimes have, but I'm mainly talking about the fact that he's silent and mimes his actions often.
True, yes.
What's going on there?
I don't fucking know.
What did you think of the scene where Art pulls out a gun? This is a scene where Tara has the upper hand. She's battered him with that bit of wood you were just talking about.
Yep.
At a moment where it looks like maybe she's going to be the final girl and defeat the slasher, even just temporarily. Art pulls out a gun and just blasts her away.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I thought, again, at this point in the film, I was still under the impression that he was, in fact, just a guy. just some psychotic criminal with really bad teeth. And yeah, I was like, you know what? Kind of serves her right for not just fucking capitalizing on the moment back when he was literally face down on the ground in a room full of weapons 4 feet from you.
I mean more the aspect of a slasher or a perceived slasher villain suddenly pulling out a gun. And a lot of people have some very strong feelings about it.
I'm okay with that. I'm not too traditionalist on if it's a slasher it has to be bladed weapons or
chainsaws or something.
Aye. Basically something that isn't a gun, you know, or like that kind of stuff. I'm not too fussed about that personally, but I'm not like a purist or anything in that regard. I can see why people would have a problem with it, but
personally, I loved it.
I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, I remember pausing the film to laugh.
Yeah,
because I thought it was just such one of the better moments in the entire film. The idea that you get the upper hand of a Jason Voorhees or a Michael Myers, and they just have a little pistol in their sock next to their ankle, a little ankle holster just in case.
yeah.
I think it's even funnier that we know he doesn't need it because he's supernatural.
Yeah. I thought it was like you know what, that's a smart thing to carry if you're some criminal guy who's planning on playing with people before you kill them.
Yeah.
But then obviously when you realise that, well, he's actually indestructible, essentially.
Yeah.
So it just sort of went, that's a smart decision as a criminal.
Yeah. I will say if they were going to be open with his supernatural abilities, a much better way to do that would have been to have him just use finger guns. Like he's miming.
Yes, yeah.
And you get shot with real bullets.
Yeah. I think you're right there. I think that would have been a better way of really sort of doubling down and letting you know earlier in the film, this is actually a supernatural being. This is not just, just some dude.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're making a movie about a clown or a mime or what have you, maybe capitalize on that in some of the ways that he acts or the ways that he kills people. You know?
Yeah. Also, personally, unless you were going to reveal earlier in the film, the one thing that I didn't particularly like about the movie, and I really liked this movie, was the fact that they had him dress up at the start of the intro.
Right,
during the sort of intro credits.
It's the Nightmare on Elm Street scene where you see Freddy make his glove during the opening credit. Yeah. That's what it's meant to be kind of emulating.
I can see why. Don't get me wrong, it's an interesting title sequence, but it's like, why is it there when you've got like some supernatural being? It's not a supernatural being that needs to be painting his face.
Also, you'll notice that frequently throughout the film he gets covered in blood and then his makeup's fine in the next scene.
Yeah.
So clearly something's going on there.
Yeah, he's not going away to touch up his makeup in a mirror somewhere. But, so what's happening there? I think, looking back on it, a better intro would have been him sharpening his weapons and packing weapons and things into his bag and whatever else, or that kind of stuff. You see the weapons and things when he's sitting painting, next to his brushes, when he's pulling out the brushes, there's scalpels and some other stuff there.
What if he fell down like Mr. Bean in the intro to the Mr. Bean show where there's a beam of light and then he falls down and hits what if they recreated that shot for shot with Art the Clown? Would that have changed your perception of this film, do you think?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Probably, at least a little bit. At the start, anyway. I quite liked him as a...
He's the highlight of the film.
Yeah,
and that's not to say that the other actors don't do
a pretty good job.
Good jobs, especially with what they had. Lines like, that was the best piss of my life. You know what, David? I think it's time to jump into a bit of trivia fire.
Oh, okay.
Nice. That's Terrifier, but I changed it to trivia. That's not trivia space FIRE. I'm not saying this trivia is lit.
God, don't try it.
Are you ready for trivia fire?
I am ready. Trivia fire me,
out of a cannon.
please.
David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, auditioned for the role after Mike Gianelli retired from the role and acting altogether. That's the actor who played him in All Hallows Eve and the other two short films. During the audition, he mimed tasting his beheaded victim's blood and then added salt to improve its flavour. This is what got him the role.
Right. Nice. Okay.
Director Damien Leone said of the acting change, quote, Mike may as well have been a guy dressed as a clown, whereas David is a clown.
Right.
He is a walking cartoon. He is Roger Rabbit in real life. And he's never believed that he's Art the Clown, but he knows how to flip the switch and bring it to a dark place.
So that he sort of like really embodies the character and things when he needs to.
Yeah, I've also heard remember last week we were talking about how method acting is bullshit?
Yeah.
All the stuff that happened with Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix playing
the Joker.
The famous clown, the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, here's David Howard Thornton playing Art the Clown, and in between takes, he's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
And I've heard from people who've met him at conventions and just sort of his general reputation is that he is a lovely guy. Great guy to meet.
Yeah, you don't have to be a dickhead, but at the same time, you can provide arguably a much better performance.
100%.
As a much more convincing crazy and a much more convincing performance and just in general as the embodiment of Art the Clown.
Yeah, I'd say David Howard Thornton's performance in this is much better than Joaquin Phoenix's performance in the movie Joker.
Yes. I would also say that the same of
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Yep. You notice that when people do the method acting, it's always as characters who are crazy, or horrible monsters, or lunatics, or killers. It's never like, I'm playing a nun.
Yeah, better method actors.
I'm playing someone who spent a lot of time volunteering for charities. Better method act that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
none of that shit.
Nope.
It's just an excuse to be a cunt.
Pretty much.
Said it last time. We'll say it again.
Howard Thornton has described Art as an evil Mr. Bean.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
That's there was a bit of
lead in there.
Yep.
He has cited Jim Carrey, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, Lon Chaney, and Doug Jones as influences.
Okay.
He also has a background in mime.
Ah, okay.
It's all coming together.
I can see that. I could definitely see the Chaplin and everything as well in there. I saw a couple of things that he was doing. I was like, it's really, especially with the wee cocked-side hat and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, it's a Jim Carrey. Oh, it's a Doug Jones, who, if you don't know, is the Fawn and the Pale Man in Pan's Labyrinth, a frequent Guillermo del Toro collaborator.
Yeah.
He's also in Hocus Pocus.
Is he?
You know that guy that they dig up and he's got his mouth stitched closed?
Oh.
That's Doug Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
And he's in Batman Returns.
Right. Yeah.
He's the tall clown.
Yeah.
Or mime. I think it's a clown.
Yeah.
Director Damien Leone also did the editing, special effects makeup, and was also a writer and co-producer on the film.
All right. Okay.
That's low-budget filmmaking, baby.
That it is. They did an all right job, all things considered, with what they had.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that more later on. The ambulance that drives past Dawn, you know, when she's hearing the radio broadcast about the pizza parlor guys, that was just an ambulance that happened to be driving by in that moment. Driving down that actual street.
Right. Nice. Okay, well, that was very handily timed. Because it really fit with the movie.
Yeah, perfect timing. Like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
The radio advertises Craven's Halloween store, which is obviously a nod to Wes Craven, who made The Hills Have Eyes and Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream, among other things. The underground tunnels used in the film were originally part of an abandoned Seaview hospital.
Oh.
The tunnels were used to transport the dead out of sight of the other patients where they were cremated.
Oh, okay.
That's a creepy place to shoot a movie.
Yeah, definitely. But, cool.
Imagine if we recorded a podcast in an abandoned building. The acoustics would be terrible.
Yeah, but it would be... We'd probably shit ourselves.
We need a power source.
Well, we'd be sitting there and all you'd hear in the background is a of the generator.
I thought that was your ghost noise.
No.
I usually go with boo.
Or we'd be able to get a legitimate interview with Art the Clown.
Only if we were lucky.
Yeah.
Here's one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Arts actor David Howard Thornton actually cried during the towel.
Is that supposed to be the tunnel?
You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel. Actually cried during the scene with the homeless woman.
Yeah.
Who was played by Puya Museni.
Okay.
Because he felt her performance was so emotional.
Yeah. I thought she was definitely one of the better sort of performing actors out of the group.
Yeah.
Of everyone outside of Art.
The normal people.
Well, would she be considered normal?
She's more normal than Art.
She's definitely more normal than Art. But yeah, I would say she was definitely a very good, convincing performance.
Yeah. You know that pumpkin in the pizza place?
Mm-hmm. That
was added in post-production.
Really?
They felt that it was lacking in its Halloween...
decoration.
Yeah. Didn't feel Halloween-y enough.
Right.
So they comped in that pumpkin.
All right.
It's very convincing.
It is. I can usually sort of clock like if something's badly slapped in. So they did pretty well with that. They did a pretty good job with that one.
Speaking of the pizza restaurant, it was originally going to be a burger place.
Oh, okay.
This was changed as Jenna Cannell, who plays Tara, and Catherine Corcoran, who plays Dawn, are both vegetarians.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Saves you having to buy like veggie burgers or some shit.
Yeah. I just changed it to cheese and tomato pizza. Done.
We in the biz call it margarita.
Mm-hmm.
Arts.
Not in America, do they?
I don't fucking give a shit about America. You know they buy pizza by the slice?
Oh,
those dumb fucks,
no.
$5 a slice. For £10 I can get a whole pizza and make myself have diarrhea.
Yeah.
Give myself diabetes. For
diabetes.
Just £10.
Oh, fuck.
I can buy my way into constipation for a measly £10.
Yep.
Art's flail is made out of the hair of his victims.
Okay.
There's something.
That's cool.
David Howard Thornton has said his favourite fictional character is...
Mr. Bean?
The Joker.
Oh.
And he hopes to play him at some point. I think he'd be an amazing Joker, but I don't think he can do it after this.
No, I don't think so.
Warner Brothers are going to hire this guy. Now after he tucked his dick between his legs and pretended to be a woman after skinning that poor homeless lady.
Yeah, well, skinning her chest anyway.
And her scalp.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably slim chances. No.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Also, he's already famous for playing a clown.
Yeah.
Like casting Bill Skarsgård as the Joker. He was already Pennywise.
Yeah.
Here's some bonus trivia for you.
Okay.
Pennywise actor Tim Curry was originally cast as the Joker in Batman the Animated Series.
Was he?
He was indeed.
Ah.
He voiced the character in his first appearance, and when it was shown to test audiences, they felt like children. They were terrified of him. They thought he was too frightening.
I've heard about this before, actually.
So he was fired.
Yeah.
And replaced with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't just ask Tim Curry to do a less scary voice.
Yeah, I don't fucking... Maybe didn't want to.
Maybe it's because it came out.
Maybe.
Because Batman the Animated Series premiered in 1991.
Right.
It came out in 1990.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
But you can find that Tim Curry audio online.
Right, nice.
You can listen to it.
Yeah.
Not right now, you're recording a podcast. Jenna and Catherine, who play Tara and Dawn, are often not in the same scene together. As the two actresses were filming scenes between filming on different movies.
Right, so their schedules didn't often line up.
They'd be shooting other movies, and on their days off, they would come and shoot their stuff for Terrifier.
Right. You know what? Gotta hand it to them. They did alright, considering they probably had very little sleep.
Yeah.
And very, very little free time, clearly.
And also, as we've said, not much to work with.
So yeah, they did pretty decent with that.
Here's an interesting one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Will the Exterminator, that's not the original Exterminator in the building, that's the one who arrives.
The other one that turns up, yeah.
He is played by Michael Levy, who was also the Staten Island clown.
Oh, okay.
This character that he portrayed is apparently what started the viral scary clown craze in 2014.
Ah.
And would go on to inspire the Great Clown Panic of 2016, the same year this movie released.
Yeah. Nice.
So there you go. That's that guy.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. There was at one point, I don't know if it's still there, a heavily edited version of this film on YouTube. Just up on YouTube that you could click on and watch for free. It removed all the graphic violence, gore, and nudity.
Alright.
And I hear you asking,
what's the point of it?
What would be left?
Yeah.
Nothing. Short film.
Just Art smiling, and then clip to the next one of Art smiling.
You'd have that scene where Dawn takes a selfie with him.
Yeah.
And then not the scene where he takes a selfie with her.
Nope.
When Catherine Corcoran was getting her full body mould made for the infamous hacksaw scene, which we'll talk about later on,
yep,
she became trapped for almost an hour and almost ended up in the emergency room due to too much separating agent being used in the mould.
Oh.
Yep, that's that one. There you go.
That is not what you want.
Speaking of Catherine Corcoran, I have a quote here to read from her regarding the filming of the hanging upside down hacksaw scene specifically.
Okay.
Logistically, when we were doing it, there were a lot of things that were pretty dangerous, and we're pretty candid about that. It was a condemned building, we didn't have a rig, which is somebody who does do stunts, and Jenna, who is an incredible stunt performer, will tell you is really necessary for something like that. The way that we kind of came to a compromise, because it was the last day, we were like, we're here, it's below freezing, we need to get this done. The compromise we came to was that I wouldn't be upside down for more than 42 seconds at a time. If you do yoga headstands, I think people can be up for up to 7 minutes, but it's different because your cranium is supported. This was a little different because you're completely beholden to gravity. And when you're flipping like that, there's this rush that happens, so you're at risk for seizure and brain trauma. So to kind of combat that, since we didn't have a rig that would allow me to sort of even out my weight distribution, I was on this platform. I'm actually in BDSM shackles. They're real. I'm actually strapped in there. They would yell action, they would pull at the platform, and I would be kind of let down. And we'd go, and there would be a timer. At like 38, 40-second mark, someone would yell cut, and they'd hoist me back up onto the platform. It was the only thing we shot that night, and it was a full 10 to 12 hour night.
Wow.
In negative 20 degree weather. I remember they did have like a quilt to put over me in between, but at a certain point it was just wet and cold and there was no getting warm. And it just kind of made it worse. So I was just like, let's just do it. The next couple of days I was really sick, and I kind of expected to be sick, but I was really dizzy and I didn't know why. So I went to the doctor and he goes, well, you have strep. Do you swim? I told him what I had done, and I don't know what he was thinking, but he was like, well, yes and no. Yes, 40 seconds is a good window to not risk seizure. However, that's assuming you're right side up again and you never were. Your legs were in the air the entire time. The way gravity works is every time you go down, blood is rushing to your cranium, and when you don't go back down, it just pulls in your body.
Right.
So what had happened was I had experienced cranial swelling, which is what the nausea was, and my eardrum was not where it should be anymore.
Fucking hell.
Because I had an infection, I had strep, and it wasn't able to go back to where it was supposed to be. A few antibiotics later, and a minor medical procedure where they moved it, and all's well that ends well.
Fucking hell.
I made of tough stuff, clearly. I'd have been freaking the fuck out.
Oh, I'd have been doing the same.
Aye.
Christ almighty.
Gee whiz. Oh my god.
Well done, hen.
Aye, Catherine Corcoran. She actually has a podcast.
Does she?
Scream Dreams.
All right. Okay.
It's her, Barbara Crampton,
Mm-hmm.
who was in films like Reanimator
Yeah.
and Suitable Flesh and From Beyond and many other great films.
Yeah.
And you're next.
Right.
It's those two and James A. Janice,
Okay.
who does Dead Meat. You know the kill counts?
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah. All right.
It's the three of them, and they usually talk about horror and stuff, and they often have guests on.
Ah, I'm guessing you listen to that then, do you?
I do indeed. I'm a big fan of
Nice.
Scream Dreams.
Nice.
And also the Dead Meat podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Both very good and much more successful than this.
Yeah. Maybe we can hashtag them in this.
Aye, we'll
See.
clip this and
See.
get some lawyers at our door.
Probably.
Cease and desist. I have a couple more points of trivia, apparently.
Good.
I thought I'd put that big quote at the end, but I've bamboozled myself. Damien Leone got the idea for that Dawn death I was just talking about from a book of medieval torture methods.
All right. Okay.
Very good. David Howard Thornton ad-libbed the moment of Art the Clown flipping off Victoria. We've got that name.
Yeah.
Tara's sister Victoria.
Yeah.
After she stabs him in the foot with a railroad spike. This happened in the raw footage, which is not technically part of the film, obviously.
Yeah.
So actress Samantha Scafidi, who plays Victoria, had to be digitally removed from the shot for it to be used in the film.
Oh.
And to that I say, just get David Howard Thornton to give the finger again.
Yeah.
Just get a second shot of him giving the finger.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Surely that would have been easier than digitally removing it.
Yeah, I mean, you shot it digitally, so you can watch the footage back and see what it's not. You shot it on film.
Yeah.
Jenna Cannell. I think I've said that name differently every single time.
Every time.
Jenna Cannell.
Canal. I don't know.
Kanell.
Canal?
Cannell. Go with that. Jenna Cannell insisted on remaining tied up in between takes of the scene so that she would feel psychologically as if she were tied up when filming.
Ah,
Isn't
okay.
that cool?
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
At the beginning of the film in Monica's dressing room, there is a sign which reads, "The end is just a new beginning."
Okay.
This foreshadows that the ending reveal is actually the
beginning. Yeah.
the beginning scene is actually the end of the film.
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
I have another quote. This one is from director Damien Leone.
Okay.
Damien Leone, the professional. Quote, "I get constantly accused of being misogynistic. Of course, today it's inevitable. What really shocked me was being called transphobic, based on the scene where Art skins and wears the woman. It makes me laugh because it couldn't be any further away from what I am, raised by all women and everything. It's so funny to me. I think I'm just so comfortable tackling sexual violence because I was raised by all women that I don't think about those things when I'm doing it. I don't think I'm offending. I'm not trying to offend. So there's really nothing I'm not afraid to show."
I never really thought about the fact that there would be anyone complaining particularly about this.
About it being misogynistic?
Yeah.
Oh, I immediately thought there would be people In fact, I think when I first saw the film, I felt it was very misogynistic. In fact, I even wrote a little review about it being... Oh, that's the end of Trivia Fire, by the way. We're back in the discussion, straight in hot and heavy.
Good.
I wrote a specific review on Letterboxd where I kind of mentioned this.
Right.
My first time watching the film, where I gave it a much harsher score than I did this time, I didn't enjoy it nearly as much. What I pointed out was that whenever Art the Clown kills a man, he gives him a quick bash on the noggin, or he cuts their head off, and it's very quick and whatever. Very standard. And then when he kills a woman, it's like he saws her in half by her undercarriage, her nether region, straight down to her neck.
Yeah.
Or he eats her face off.
Yeah.
Or he kills 3 women in the movie. Technically, he doesn't kill Victoria.
Yeah.
In 2 of those, he kills them in a sexual nature.
That's true.
He doesn't cut anyone's dick off. He's not attacking any of the men like that. So yeah, you get what I mean? But
Yeah.
also, I knew that people would be making those kind of complaints immediately. The misogynistic thing, definitely because of the Dawn death. That alone, I think, is enough to get people talking, you know?
Yeah. I just never really thought too much about that part.
And in regards to the whole thing about him being transphobic, that Art cuts the breasts and scalp off that woman and dances around pretending to be a woman. I didn't know this until I did my research for this episode. That actress, Puya Mohseni, is actually trans.
Was she?
She's a trans actress. So that adds an extra kind of layer to that.
Well, I did not know that either until right now.
Yeah, until I told you. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, on the one hand, it's good that she's not playing a character who is trans. In this, she's able to just play a woman.
Yeah,
which is great, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. Something fishy about that. Or maybe there's not. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think it's worth... I'm not saying that he is misogynistic or he is transphobic or that the film is, but I think it's a conversation worth having.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe I give people benefit of the doubt too much or whatever, but I think I still wouldn't think there's anything particularly transphobic about the fact that, this happens to be the person. If he hired this woman and then went, this is how she's dying, by the way, because I changed it because of you. Yeah,
that would be it. Or if he specifically was like, I'm hiring someone who is trans specifically to play this character because that's how they die. But it doesn't seem like that's the case.
No.
Or if the character was explicitly trans and they made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
Or if it was God forbid, if it was a trans character, it was just a male actor pretending to be trans, acting trans, something like that.
Yeah. That would all be situations where I think it would have gone down that route, but I think this situation, albeit tenuous, maybe, depending on how you particularly look at it and how you feel about it.
I could understand if someone was upset by this, I could understand why.
Yeah. But personally, I don't see any real issue with it, personally.
That's fair.
As is. Because I feel like, anyway, although I don't know for certain, because I wasn't the one writing the film, but I feel like it was a case of the script was the script.
Yeah.
And they just found the right actors and, right actors for the roles. And this person, trans or no, made no difference to them and their opinion of who should play who. And it would just be a case of you are embodying the role of the sort of crazy homeless lady perfectly. So that's why we hired you, matter what. You know what I mean? It doesn't play a part in the decision making, I don't think.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't see an issue with it personally.
That's fair.
But now that you pointed out about the guys dying really fast and quick and not nice, but you know what I mean?
I mean, you can't...
They're not tortured.
Can't murder someone nice, but like one of them just gets their head stepped on by Art and that's it.
Yeah. Well, they get bashed by a hammer first.
Yeah, but like Art thinks that's him killing that guy.
Yeah.
And he just hits him with a hammer. And the audience thinks he's dead as well. We don't question.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a flail made out of hair and knives and chase them around and whip them.
True. I see what you mean by that one. I think that might be more to do with the fact that maybe not I wouldn't say the film is misogynistic, but maybe the whole fact that Art is like clearly, you know, Art was someone who was either didn't get love from his mother or whatever that was going on with that situation.
Whatever kind of creature Art is.
Yeah, however he came about to be. But he's obviously got some sort of issue as a character with women. Because you're right enough in the fact that it's only the woman he's torturing.
Yeah.
before killing them.
That's interesting. I wonder if I haven't seen Terrifier 2 since it came out.
Right, I haven't seen it at all. So,
Right.
Yeah, we'll probably watch that at some point after having watched this one. We're
Hopefully we'll cover it at some point. See if we can sneak it in.
hopefully.
And we'll see what happens in Terrifier 3.
Yeah,
Maybe it's expanded upon even further.
yeah. Maybe
Only-
the backstory of Art gets a bit revealed and how he came about to be.
Yeah, I don't want them to reveal too much. I like that he's a mystery, but you never know.
Yeah.
David, did you have anything else you want to say about the movie Terrifier?
I feel like you had a couple of points that I think we should discuss before we get round to that.
I had some notes that I made that we can talk about if you want.
Okay, let's go for it.
This is a point that's not my own. I heard it somewhere else.
Okay.
I think it relates back to the budget issues, but you have the guy, the exterminator, who's bug bombing the building, right?
Yep.
And you have a killer who's a clown or a mime or what have you.
Yep.
Cover the building in the tent that they use for bug bombing buildings, and it'll look like a circus tent.
Ah.
Put
Good
that in
point.
the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And then when you have Tara's body, right?
Yeah.
And she's holding that sign that says circus for no reason.
Yeah.
Put that outside the building. You know, like a funny bit because she's holding a
Yeah,
sign
yeah.
for a circus outside of a tent that looks like a circus tent.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been a good point.
It would have been.
Aye.
I stole that from someone else. The second exterminator who shows up, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says that the other exterminator, the first one, is on his own before he starts his car. And then it cuts to him checking under the doormat and finding the spare key.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. That's bad editing.
Yeah, it is bad editing. I noticed that as well.
That's my first note. That was the moment that made me pick up a pen and paper and say, I need to be taking notes or I'm going to forget that this happened.
Yeah.
When the first Exterminator, I'm just going to call him Exterminator 1 and Exterminator 2 because I can't remember which one's Will and which one's...
Will's the first one, I think.
Right, Sean's the second one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when Will phones 999, he says, and I think this is correct, when he gives the address, he says they're on Filming Street.
Right.
Like the street they're filming on?
Yeah.
Filming Street?
Yeah. I think he does.
That's weird.
Yeah. Couldn't have made up a better name for that.
Is that meant to be like a joke?
Maybe.
Filming Street?
Maybe, but...
Make it Clown Street or something.
Yeah, something...
Terrible.
Yeah.
Art kills 5 men and 3 women.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 2 funny ones. You ready for the funny ones?
Okay.
American cops don't give warnings. The cops walk up to Art and he's eating someone's face and they give him 15 warnings.
They do.
Even when he's reaching for the gun in his holster and on his ankle, they're like, hey, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's play nice. Turn around now. Put that hand up.
It's alright, mate. He might have had some black paint on his face, but he wasn't a black guy. So that's why
true.
he didn't get shot. That's
if
why.
If he was a clown, they would have killed him on sight, but he was a mime, so he's alright.
Yeah.
And I said, Art listening to jazz is so me. It's a bit where Art's sitting in that exterminator's car and he has the jazz station on.
Yeah.
And he's just having a good time, just jazzing out.
Yeah,
And I was like, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I love Art the Clown. He's so me. These are 3 of my last notes, but they all pertain to the ending scene of the film.
Okay.
What kind of fucking coroner's office is this? Looks like a basement where you would have like in America in basements they have washing machines.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like this basement of the Simpsons house.
I feel like it's one of those situations where maybe they decided to paint a small section of the walls at the other end of that abandoned building tunnel.
I don't even think it was that. I think this was the director's basement or something.
Oh, right, okay. Well, maybe.
To show that it's a medical office, they have a poster of a skull on the wall.
Yes. I noticed some of the very bad decoration going on in that
awful.
coroner's office.
Also, that guy's his lab coat or his doctor's coat reads Victory Internal Medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's probably some budget issues.
You work at the police coroner's office. Why does your quote say Victory Internal Medicine.
I don't know, man.
Or Victory Infernal. I couldn't quite make that one out.
Yeah,
This isn't even a note. God, this is awful. Coroner asks for a bacon sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And the female cop says, I don't know how you could eat a greasy croissant when you're doing this.
Yep.
A sandwich is not a croissant.
No, it is not. And
Art should know that because he's a French mime.
even if it was a case of it was what he'd asked for, it was still weird. Like,
yeah.
If you are going to the kind of place where you're getting your bacon sandwich in a croissant, not a fucking roll or a butty or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
A butt. I knew a guy called butties. I didn't even call them butties. I'd call it a roll.
I'd call it a roll, yeah.
I knew a guy once who called them butts.
Fucking hell.
That guy was a paedophile, I think. Cut that.
Yeah. If you're going somewhere that's using croissants instead of rolls,
yeah,
it's not going to be greasy, mate.
No, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, it fucking should be.
I went to this place when I was up in Edinburgh back in 2022. These weird kind of long pizza things, but there was no tomato sauce. It was like an Italian thing. It's just bread and cheese. It's the best thing I've ever fucking eaten. And I bet they used to do croissants with bacon, but I never had that.
Right,
I remember seeing it on the...
Yeah. I've had bacon in a croissant before.
I don't think I have.
It's actually really nice.
Actually, once, it was Christmas morning.
The
other note I had was that the visuals in the film are very contrasty. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
It's an ugly look for sure, but I think it helps the film feel unique.
Yeah.
We tried watching a film together called Shortcut.
Oh, God.
A very low-budget horror movie, and it looked like ass.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
And it had the opposite issue. It was not contrasty enough.
Yeah, it was all
washed out
and bland looking.
Plus, contrasty visuals, mime clown is in black and white. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now. Well, David, it's time for our segment, Letters in the Boxed.
Ah, very good.
Remember this one from the Joker episode?
I do indeed.
I find funny reviews or reviews that I like that people have left on Letterboxd, and I steal them.
Good.
And I read them out.
Yep.
This is a 0.5-star review.
Oh, fucking hell.
From Caitlin. Calling this a movie is a stretch.
Okay.
Very harsh.
Yeah.
I have another one here from Ali Bug. 4 stars.
Okay.
Ouch! My vagina.
Yeah.
And that's all I have for Letters in a Box.
All right.
And I'll keep it sweet.
Yeah.
Go with 2.
Yeah. One from each end.
One liked the movie, one didn't.
Yeah.
Both from women.
Yeah.
We're very forward thinking here, obviously.
Yeah.
We've never had a woman on either of our podcasts.
But that's because we're not big enough to have anyone on.
True. But we have stolen content from women, and I think that says a lot.
Yes,
okay.
We have.
All right, David, do you have any final thoughts regarding the movie Terrifier? Just things you need to get out before we wrap it up. We've no more segments, right? We're done?
Yeah.
We've done the 2.
Yeah.
The Terrifier 2.
Oh.
The Folie à Dieu.
Fucking hell. The musical.
Oh, yeah.
I would say final thoughts on the show.
Movie.
The movie, thank you. I think that I would say this is definitely a low budget film.
Very clearly, yeah.
Yeah. We've gone through some of the reasons how we can very easily spot this as a low budget film.
One of the things that bothers me, right, and I guess it's a low budget film, is the lack of extras. What city are they in?
Yeah.
Or you're walking around on Halloween night and it's empty. The streets are empty.
No one.
They're talking about leaving a party and there's no one else. There's no music or noise. You
can't have parked that far away from the party.
No trick-or-treaters? Not even one trick-or-treaters? No one walking around in costumes?
Absolutely no one.
They go to that pizza place and it's just them and Art and the people who work
On
there.
Halloween night, they're having a bad night, that pizza place.
They
must have just been in the papers for, I don't know, selling a salmonella fucking pizza to someone. Because there's no way it'd be that quiet in the middle of a city on Halloween night.
I know. There's no one. It's like a ghost town. It's like they're in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
But without the fog.
Yeah.
The fog wasn't in the budget.
Yeah. The fog machine was too expensive.
Probably. But, even like cars going by.
Yeah.
Something as simple, I think, is getting someone else, or shooting those outdoor scenes maybe around Halloween, late October, so that there's just
ambience,
Halloween stuff
people
there.
Yeah.
Even like people just decorations, Get some people, I don't know if this breaks SAG, Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
I don't know if it breaks Screen Actors Guild stuff, but just get some people, and put them in Halloween costumes and walk through the background of a shot.
Yeah.
Crew members who aren't doing anything in that take.
I don't know if it breaks SAG, but I don't think it should if they're just extras.
Get David Howard Thornton in a scene where he's not playing Art the Clown to walk by as a different character and just trick or Halloweener,
Yeah, just something that even if they're like mildly out of focus or whatever, so it's harder to recognize it as them, it would just put a little bit of ambience to it,
Make it feel more like a real city and not like a
ghost town.
Desolate wasteland.
Yeah.
And what's up with that building that they go into that's being bug bombed, except there's a homeless woman in it?
Why is it being bug bombed?
It looks abandoned.
It's
And it's being bug bombed for rats.
It looks abandoned. It's being bug bombed for rats.
Yes.
Which is why are they like spraying pesticides and stuff up the stairs?
You get rats in the basement, you put traps out.
Yeah.
Inhumane traps. You put out humane traps.
Yeah.
Like little plastic boxes that they crawl into.
Yeah. Why are you bug bombing and exterminating in the middle of the night
in an abandoned building on Halloween night in an abandoned building? Yeah.
You must be getting paid like 4 times your regular wage to
and
go
you've
and
got
do
your
that
headphones
shit.
in.
Yeah. And there's you must know that there's some homeless woman living in this building.
Yeah.
Because she's not magical in any way. She didn't just fucking randomly appear.
And she's hardly like hiding in corners or anything. She's
got a whole ass room that she lives in down the stairs in the basement.
She walks up to Tara and talks to her.
Yeah.
She's not like cowering from people or hiding.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And she's going around with a trolley and things. Like the pram thing, whatever it is, with the wee baby in it.
Yeah.
It's going around with that. So it's not like, that's going to make noise. It's a big abandoned building. It's going to echo.
I don't know.
You would know that there's someone in there. So why would you be spraying pesticides and all that other stuff?
No mask on.
No. Don't need one of those.
No gloves, no protective equipment.
Just a jumpsuit and headphones.
That's the one.
That's all you need. America.
And a big bald head.
Yeah, that's the protecting. It's all the protecting you need.
It's the shine.
That and a wife beater on underneath and you're good.
Oh, I bet he does. We don't see it, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about the wraparound for the movie? The talk show thing?
That's not really my favourite part of the film.
Yeah.
A good portion of the way. I feel like you could have just segued into it without that, really. Or you could have done something else with it.
You know what it reminds me of? You know those VHS anthology movies?
Yeah.
You and I have watched, we've watched 2 of
yeah.
those. I've seen all of them, but
yeah,
that feels like something from one of those.
Yeah. Pointless wraparound.
Or just filler nonsense.
Yeah. Aye.
There's an idea in there somewhere, but it's not being executed very well and it's not fully formed.
Yeah.
I don't know about all
I don't know. They haven't explained a link between...
Why is she crazy and killing people at the end?
Yeah, exactly. What made her like that? Yeah, it's been a few months in hospital and a lot of surgeries, and yeah, you look like that now.
Looks like she's been chimp attacked.
Yeah, which is very unfortunate. But why are you a psychotic killer now? How are you a psychotic killer now? No one explained any of that shit.
It feels like nonsense.
Yeah. It It does. It just feels like they didn't really even know what to do with the wraparound. And they just went, well, she's going to be killing this person now as well. Get a bit of gore in there.
Yeah, it feels like, nonsense.
Yeah.
Though we did like the film.
I like the film. I like the
Yeah.
film. The more we pick at it, it's like, oh yeah, there's problems here or there or whatever. But I think despite the budget issues and despite the wraparound problem,
Mm.
and the sort of the bit that I particularly didn't like about once I've watched the film in its full, the look back at it and going, actually, why did you have him putting the makeup on? Why didn't you just have him kitting out a kit bag or something instead?
Aye, or as I said, shot for shot recreation of the opening of the TV show Mr. Bean.
Yeah, anything other than him putting his makeup on, because you're basically going, you're telling us at the start of the film, and I mean like the very start, the credits of the film, that this is a man dressing up as a killer, as a psychotic clown killer. And you get that feeling all the way through because he starts limping once he gets shot in the leg, all that kind of stuff. Then he shoots himself in the head and then sits up and kills the coroner.
Yeah. I will say I think David Howard Thornton's performance is what really sells the film. His role
definitely.
as Art the Clown is
and now that I look back on it, the limping there is really just another way of clowning them when you think about it, because he's immortal essentially.
Yeah, maybe it does affect him temporarily. But when he gets stabbed in the eye, his eye is fucking gone.
Yeah.
It's back for Terrifier 2, so it heals at some point.
Yeah, well, his head's also not blasted open, presumably.
As far as I can remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he does take damage. He's not Wolverine.
Yeah.
Played by Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, not instant healing or near instant healing.
But he is apparently immortal and eventually heals.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe it is a case of he does actually, like, it does affect him. He doesn't just take damage and visually it's there, but maybe he can still see, with a screwed eye, he's also got sight, or, he's still got his other eye, obviously, but,
I get
maybe
what you mean.
they could still see.
Oh, aye.
I don't know. I think it's a case of either way, it's explainable once you know that he's immortal and all that kind of stuff. But I think you shouldn't have set up the film to make it look like he's not, for you to find out that late. I feel like if you set it up in a different way, that this might be a human, and then you found out earlier than that, like the whole sort of finger banging, and that's how they blast their head.
Can you repeat that in a different way, please?
Sorry, making the gun shape with your
miming. Is that what you're looking for?
Miming a gun? I'm sitting there clicking away my finger at you.
Finger banging me, apparently. And then if you're someone like me who's seen All Hallows Eve and at least one of those shorts, I can't remember which one, then you know that he's supernatural.
Yeah.
So you're thinking either they've taken away what was interesting about this guy, or you're waiting for the other shoe to drop and for them to reveal that he's supernatural.
Yeah.
And again, budgetary wise, it's easier to have them reveal that he's supernatural at the end. You have to deal with all that, teleporting and doing funny nonsense, and
you don't actually have to do too much of that anyway.
I'm just saying,
but
compared to All Hallows Eve, where he's turning his eyes into headlights.
Yeah. There's a lot of trickery going on and tomfoolery going on in that one.
Aye, there is.
Other than it's some minor complaints or minor suggestive criticisms, I guess, I would say it's a pretty good movie for a very low budget film with the constraints they had. They did really well.
Yes, I would agree, David.
Yeah. Very good.
That was a great episode, David.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about Tara, who's who gets marrying craned, like in Psycho. She's set up to be the final girl and then gets shot in the face a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I liked Tara.
I like Tara as well.
And I like Dawn. I think it's a shame that they both get killed off. I like both of them better than Victoria.
Yeah.
It seems sort of personality free.
Yeah.
Not to any fault of the actress.
No. Just we don't really have much of an opportunity to get to know her. We get a lot of setup for Tara and Dawn.
Speaking of bad sets, hold the fucking phone.
Oh, okay.
Her dorm room that we see briefly.
Oh, God.
That small chair and single bed in a cupboard.
Yeah, small chair, single bed in a cupboard. No other bed to be seen.
No, so she's spooning that other girl, I assume.
Must normally
unless
be.
that girl brings home a boy and then she's out on the streets.
Yeah. That's an odd one. There.
Yeah.
You don't, here in the UK, you don't typically find too many shared dorm situations
Well,
going
you do,
on.
but it's like multiple bedrooms. It's like
it's
it's like a flat where there's 4 or 5 bedrooms, and each of those bedrooms has
its own bed, desk, and chair,
and
etc.
everything. It's like someone's living space, and then you have a shared communal living room and kitchen and bathroom.
Yeah.
That's an American thing.
Yeah, the 2 beds and 2 desks in one room situation.
And then like each floor has like a communal shower.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
American. Call me David Bowie, but I'm afraid of Americans. Call me Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid of Americans. Same joke.
Yeah.
Because they did that song together.
They did.
Third David of the episode, by the way.
Yeah.
David Bowie, David Howard Thornton, David Wilde.
Yeah.
Which one of those is the most successful David, do you think?
Hands down, the insert brain.
Definitely the one who does insert brain here, you're right. Let's wrap it up.
Well, this has been Movie House. I've been your host, David, and with me, as always, has been my co-host, Connor.
Ouch! My vagina! That was the best piss I've ever taken. Just an alternative one, just in case. That's been me, David. I've been Connor.
Yes, you have. And if you want to stick with us in 2 weeks' time, we will be covering Gladiator.
That's right. We're riding the Algorithmic Express again because Ridley Scott is releasing Gladiator 2.
Finally, after all this time.
Yeah, 25 years later.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram at Movie House Podcast or at T422. We are on Instagram and Twitter under that name.
Yes.
And also check out our other podcast, Insert Brain Here, where we talk about The Simpsons.
Yes,
you
correct.
can follow that on Instagram at Insert Brain Here Pod. There you go. Goodbye, good luck, good work, and good plywood.
Yep.
Luck be a lady tonight. I don't know why I'm feeling very musical. Maybe it's
I have no idea.
I wish we were covering Joker La Folia due. Joker La Folia, Todd Phillips, your bills are due. And you're only getting paid for doing Joker 2 because it's a big pile of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the title of the movie. How's that for a funny joke? Joker. I don't want to talk about Joker anymore. I don't want to keep bringing it up.
I don't know. I really don't.
It's playing on my brain because I edited that episode. Let's call it there.
Yeah. All right.
Tatty bye.
Tatty bye.
Tatty bye.
Ta.
Bye. C422 Productions, honey boy.